We should try to get it into like a refrigerator, see if we can get the temps down. But it only goes to 55.
Right, yep.
I know, and I was like, well, maybe we set it to 55 and then open the freezer and let the freezer cool it down.
You could hot wire it, where it'll just run.
Well, it's just run and run and run and run.
It'll just be a freezer.
See if we can get it down to like 30 degrees. That would be awesome.
50 would be pretty amazing if it's 105 outside.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Okay, we're back here at ROA out in Utah. After we were in the factory in Wisconsin, we were kind of having a conversation about this crazy idea about turning the Xplore into a refrigerator or a freezer. And we were thinking that would be pretty funny if it was even possible, right? And so one of the tests that we actually did recently, if you recall, we made a video and it was about the ACs running, with a generator and off-grid, completely battery power. But while we were actually doing that test, we had another trailer that was sitting next to the Xplore, not an Xplore, and it had a larger AC unit, and that AC unit was running, and it actually couldn't even bring the temps down to below 74 degrees. It was about 100 degrees outside during this test. And the Xplore unit, on the other hand, we turned the thermostat down to 60 degrees, and it got down to 60 degrees and turned off. And we were like, wow, that's really incredible. And it would turn on and off and maintain the trailer's temperature at, or comfortable, actually pretty chilly, 60 to 65 degrees. In that same video, the other trailer, it actually froze over after a few hours trying to get the temperature down to 70 degrees. And we had to turn it off and turn it back on to let it thaw out. And it could never get it below 70 degrees. On the other hand, the Xplore easily got it not just to 70, but to closer to 60 and turned off. And so we started thinking about this and we thought, maybe it's actually possible to turn it into a giant fridge. But it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the insulation. Okay, so we come back inside. I wanted to draw out a little bit explanation on the way the Xplore's walls are made and kind of give you some comparison to how other trailers are made. Just so you know, I'm not like a expert on insulation. I've learned this stuff more recently too. Don't get mad at me if I don't say everything perfectly, but for those newbies that don't know anything, I think you'll learn a lot from this. I'm also not an artist either. Let me explain a little bit about a regular trailer and how its walls are made so you can understand the significance of the Xplore. Okay, so if you can imagine, this is a wall, and if you're looking on the outside of the trailer, and before it has an actual skin to it, you'll see the frames, right? And now we're gonna draw a side view of it. So if you can imagine, this would be, if you walked around and looked down this way, you would see it this way, right? And then I'm also going to draw a top view of it, which is going to look something like this. So you can kind of get every single angle, and hopefully this will make some sense. Okay, so the most standard trailers are going to frame out, and this is going to be an aluminum wall, and then they're going to add in their foam board insulation. And this typically is going to be a 1 to 2 pound foam board, and that's going to be their main insulation. So now looking at the side of the wall, what you're going to see is then they're going to put a plastic infused fiberglass. This is the most standard stuff that is used in the trailer industry. And then on the inside of the trailer, you're going to get a piece of paneling, which is a wood, probably 1/8 inch, just like what you would see in your house from the 70s or 80s, just wood paneling. And then right here, you're gonna get that plastic infused fiberglass. It's about maybe 30 mil thick. So it's about as thick as a credit card. So super, super thin. And so that's essentially the plastic infused fiberglass is gonna get laid on here, and then on the inside, you're gonna have a paneling. And what they'll do with this wall is they'll pick it up and they'll run it through this giant lamination machine that's like vacuum sucks it and seals it together, and then that's their wall. And they say it makes it very rigid when you send it through this machine. Now, if you can imagine looking from the top like this down, which is right here, this is the top of the wall, what you would see is studs right here. So these are the aluminum studs. And you'd see that every so often. And then in between the aluminum studs, they would put that foam board, right? That you would see. And this is the 1 to 2 pound foam board. And then you'd put that thin layer of fiberglass, and then your thin layer of paneling. And now if you can imagine, this is outside, you're gonna have heat coming in, and what it's actually gonna do, like anything, heat, cold, it usually typically goes the path of least resistance, right? So it's gonna come in, and as it comes in this way, it's gonna come in and hit this foam insulation, and it's gonna have a hard time working through. I mean, it will slowly work. Anything will slowly work its way through. But what it's really gonna do, it's gonna come and hit this stud, which most standard trailers are rectangular hollow, and that heat is just gonna heat this stud up right here and come right through the paneling and into your trailer. This works also with condensation. Things that are highly conductive to moisture, to heat and cold is metal, aluminum, right? And this aluminum stud is just, this is the conducting point for heat and cold and moisture to come right through to your trailer. And we always think about aluminum trailers, right, as being this great quality, the best of the best, right? Aluminum is very light, and it's like actually more expensive than most stuff. More expensive than this very thin fiberglass infused plastic. But aluminum is actually worse for insulation. Because this sheet, if you were to do a panel of aluminum down here, essentially this metal aluminum is just going to conduct extremely fast, right? You're going to get conduction all the way through this, and it's going to come through here really rapidly and into the trailer. And it's like if you don't believe that metal or aluminum is conductive, take a wrench and throw it out in your backyard in the sun. When you go out and touch it, it's going to be burning hot. Or in the winter, if you throw it out, it's gonna be freezing cold. You get frostbite or burn yourself depending on the time of the year, right? So metal is really conductive. So really, quite frankly, this is kind of new stuff that I've been studying and understanding and researching. Aluminum on a trailer is, in my opinion, probably the worst material you can put if you're trying to keep heat and cold out of your trailer. Also condensation. It's pretty common if you get moisture, it just condensates right through here, and on your paneling, you'll have to grab a rag and wipe up the water. We've seen this with trailers over the years. Now, that's pretty much how a standard trailer is made. And now, if you've held out, this is the best part, right? We're gonna talk about Xplore now and how it's made, because they're doing some really unique things that I've never seen done before, and it's pretty incredible. So, similar in construction, you're gonna have aluminum studs. Now we're gonna go with the sidewall here, and then we'll go with the top down view. So, once again, we're gonna have foam board insulation. The difference with this foam board is they use a 3-pound foam board, which is gonna be a higher density and have better R values. Also, one of the things that I did notice, like when we were at the factory, every single spot was filled. And if they had a cutout for like a water line or a hose or anything, if the hose was right here, the foam board was cut out to this hole and it was filled in everywhere, right? I've seen sometimes where some trailers get a little lazy, manufacturers, And you know, if there's a hole there, they just might do a foam board right here and one here, and then this whole area is just open, right? It's just because it's as fast as you can produce these trailers and push them out. Xplore, they took their time to cut out every single area, and they use that higher density foam board. Now, looking at the wall this way, what do they do on the outside? Well, I actually have some of the fiberglass here. This is a Crane Noble fiberglass. Now, when they actually make this fiberglass, it's a resin, kind of like a molten material resin that they pour onto a surface, and then it solidifies and becomes this fiberglass. The really cool thing about the fiberglass is this color that you see, the paint, is actually built into the fiberglass. So most standard fiberglass you'll see is white, you know, like on a boat or car or trailer. I'm not talking about that plastic infused fiberglass. I'm talking about actual good quality fiberglass. You'll see it's white, and then they paint it or put a sticker on it. And then if you scrape the paint, you'll see the white underneath it. If you scrape this, you don't see that. It's just green, green, green all the way through the actual fiberglass. So they actually mix it into the resin and they pour it down. It's not glued, it solidifies. And according to this company, Crane Noble Fiberglass cannot delaminate. Most trailers, when you see that delamination happening, it's because it's been laminated through and it just starts popping off of the frame because it's so thin and it's just bad material. This stuff is so thick, it's so rigid. Also, if you walk down the length of the trailer, you're gonna see a super rigid straight line. That plastic stuff, if you look at it, you can almost see waves. You'll see little infused pieces of fiberglass and plastic together. It's not good stuff. This is very, very expensive. If you go buy fiberglass, this is top shelf. This is what you're gonna see in $1 million to $2 million motor coaches. So really nice stuff. And the way they apply this is they actually put it up on the wall and they use an adhesive. It's a very, very strong adhesive. In the world of adhesives, you can get barrels anywhere from 100, and the cost of this adhesive that they use is actually $1,300 for a barrel. So it's very, very good, used in really high-end yachts and motor coaches. So once they hang the fiberglass, one thing that I want to point out is it's 85 mil opposed to 30, right? So it's almost 3 times as thick. Also, fiberglass is not as conductive as, say, aluminum or really thin plastic, of course. So they're gonna put this right here on the outside, and it's a little bit thicker than what we had on that other thing. So it's gonna have a much better thermal barrier so that the heat can't come in as easy. And then inside, looking from top down over here, let's do the studs, you'll have those, you know, that foam board in between, the foam board. And then, so you'll have that foam board in here, in between each stud. And then on the inside, and this is completely unique to Xplore. I've never heard or seen any manufacturer do this. And this is what's really, really cool. And this is kind of the magic, is they actually add an entire another piece of insulation. It's another high density foam board. And the unique thing about this foam is it goes the entire length of the trailer. So this foam goes across the entire length of the trailer on the inside. So looking from the top down, you'll see it coming out like this, right? And so you have this additional thermal block. And it's really, really important to understand this, is that in the world of insulation and our values, thermal breaks are usually where you're gonna get the most heat and cold through your walls, right? And then to finish off the product, they put a nice piece of paneling here to give it that nice finished look on the inside. So the walls are much, much thicker. And what's really cool now is, as we do that example from before, heat's gonna come in this way, heat's gonna come in this way, and of course, it's gonna have a much harder time breaking the 85 mil fiberglass barrier, but it will inevitably. And then it will get into the studs. And then what happens is it has a really hard time breaking that thermal barrier, right? It's also gonna come and try to hit through here, and it's gonna have a harder time hitting through here is because it's thicker R value, right? It's a 3 pound. So this heat is gonna come out and it's just gonna try to work its way into the trailer, but it's gonna have a much more difficult time making it into the trailer. Condensation, I have used the trailer now with other trailers, and the other trailers, they had condensation coming through at the same time that this did not have any condensation. So like personally, I have not seen condensation happen in the Explorers, which is really, really cool. And one of the reasons why you don't have condensation is because it's not aluminum. Fiberglass doesn't condensate. That's why they make boats out of fiberglass, because it doesn't condensate water through it. It also has better R value. Anyway, this wall, the wall, what they're doing at the Explorer is so unique. I've never seen it done in any other trailer. If you have, please make mention of it, because people would like to know, because this is, to me, pretty innovative, and it's like nothing we've ever seen. I hope that all made sense. If not, make some comments below and ask some more questions, and we'll try to go into more detail, and we can even ask Explorer themselves, see if they can go into more detail, but I feel like I did a pretty good job. Now that we've kind of explained how the insulation works in the Explorer, we're gonna go outside and see if we can turn it into a refrigerator. Part of trying to turn the Explorer into a refrigerator is we're gonna try to do it with the air conditioning unit. So we're gonna turn on the AC unit, and we're gonna set it to the absolute lowest temperature. In a little bit, the AC unit we're thinking is gonna drop down and get down to 55 degrees, and we're gonna actually have to remove this and set it outside, because obviously it will end up turning off, and we want to trick it and set it outside so it will think it's still hot, and the AC will just continually run and keep on getting colder and colder until it becomes a refrigerator. So here we go. AC on. Okay, it's about 100 degrees outside, and our refrigerator has been running for a while. As you saw, the AC unit couldn't get it below, well, it couldn't get it below about 48 degrees, 49 degrees. So we had to go and buy about 250 pounds of ice and throw it in there. And now we want to see how cold it currently is. So we're about to open the door and see how cold this refrigerator has gotten down to. Here we go. It's cold. I gotta go. That didn't quite turn out the way we were expecting it. I did want to just note that the whole inspiration for this video was a guy that came in a little while ago and was like, you know, that Explorer is really cool, but I just would never want to camp in 40 degrees below zero, like what you guys advertise. He's like, I don't even want to camp in 30 degrees outside. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And it got me thinking, well, most trailers struggle to keep the temperatures to a comfortable 70 to 75 degrees with 100 degrees in the middle of the summer, when you actually want to be using it if you don't go in the winter, right? And so I thought, I wonder how cold we could actually get the fridge. And so between going to the manufacturer and talking about turning it into a freezer, and you know, some people making comments about how they don't want to camp in that cold weather, we thought, well, let's see what it can do in the hot, hot, hot weather, 100 degrees. And we got it to 48 degrees just by the AC all by itself, which is pretty incredible. It's because if you consider a refrigerator temperature, recommended temperature is around 40 degrees. A recommended freezer temperature is going to be 30 degrees or lower. And we got it to 40, well, you saw in the video 41 degrees. We actually got it down to 37 degrees, which is unreal. We have a trailer right now that's having issues with a refrigerator in 100-degree temps, and it was having a hard time getting to 50 degrees. Not the Xplore fridge, another trailer. A bunch of them are having issues because it's so hot outside, and the fridges are having a hard time getting to temp, and we just got an entire trailer down below 40 degrees, which is amazing. Assisted with some ice, but still, even the AC by itself was impressive. This thing, without a doubt, has the best insulation out of any trailer I've ever experienced. Probably the best insulation out of any trailer in America, and maybe even the world. But, you know, you'll have to just stay tuned, subscribe to our channel, watch more videos, and we'll keep on rolling out cool stuff about the Explorer. If you have any comments, don't forget to say them down in the comment section below, and we do read and we will respond. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We turned off the AC about yesterday maybe 20 hours ago. Just came in today. The temperatures have been anywhere from 75 to 100 degrees in the last 24 hours ish since we've turned off the AC, and it's 60 degrees in here. So the AC's been completely off. Look at here. We were like, let's just turn off the AC and let all the ice melt. There's still ice chilling in the sink, even though it's been, you know, 75 to 100 degrees. And I just came in and it's 60 degrees still inside here. So, like I said, completely turned off AC, 60 degrees inside here. It's crazy. Just from the ice, keeping it cool in here. So, wow, pretty cool.